All right, I've been wanting to give you all a update on my personal weight loss and fat loss journey since going carnivore. And I about 3 weeks ago had a test done at my gym called an in-body test. Some nicer gyms will have various kinds of these machines. This is one of those where you stand on a scale with your shoes and socks off, and if you wipe your feet off with a cleaning thing before you go on it. It's got little pads for your feet and little handles for you to hold on to, both of which have sensors on them. And it takes your body weight and it will give you like some percentage breakdowns. My gym's got one of these, and I, paid the small fee to use it and got an official report. And I thought I'd go over some of the details with you. Now, this was about 3 weeks ago, and since then I've lost 4 more pounds than I had at the initial report. That report showed 141 total pounds lost, and I've lost about 4 pounds since then. So we're at about 145, not quite, we'll say 144 since I've taken this exam. And so again, it's called an in-body, and you can find a lot of these at some of the better gyms in the, out in the wild. If you're looking for a gym, maybe find out about little perks like that. That's just one of my tips. If you want how to pick a gym video, let me know. What I will probably start with here is my first, we'll call trend line. And this is actually from MyFitnessPal. Yes, I track macros. I track all that stuff because basically I stalled out. It doesn't really show it here, but I just kind of didn't keep tracking when I stalled out. But when that happened, I decided to stop with, just entering the information because I'm a schmuck. But that's what I did. You can see here what looks like pretty consistent weight loss, but really what you're looking at here is some of this is just the more recent numbers during my 3-month basic stall was oh, look, it says you went down half a pound and now you went up half a pound. Now you went down half a pound kind of thing. So that's the first thing really. But you see some numbers there, but really let's talk about this right here, which is the first number here is we're going to go over is the muscle mass number. And according to MyFitnessPal, the in-body report, the first one we're going to actually look at is called the SMM number, and that's your skeletal muscle mass. And I want to dispel kind of a weird myth I've seen some carnivore influencers promoting, which is that you will, if you've been trying to lose weight on the carnivore diet and you're gaining weight and you're being strict, you're doing all the things you should be doing, beef, butter, bacon, eggs, you've gotten rid of all the coffee, you've gotten rid of everything out of desperation, and you're gaining weight. I've seen some people say, well, you're probably gaining skeletal muscle mass. You can gain skeletal muscle mass. And in about 4.5 months, you'll see I went from 100 pounds of skeletal muscle mass to 101.6. I gained 1.5 pounds of skeletal muscle mass in that period where I wasn't really losing much weight. Does that account for real weight gain? No, it doesn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Yeah, it's about a pound. That's because I lift weight, and I tend to go heavy for me. And what that tends to mean is when you do weightlifting, you're going to have pressure on bones, and your bones will respond, if you don't overdo it, by getting stronger. It's one of the benefits of going and doing weight training. And that's why I highly recommend weight training. We're going to look at the percent body fat here. Percent body fat here. Now, the first one of these scans, this 46.8% number you're seeing, is my first scan I did. That would have been spring of last year. I had already been doing clean keto for about 4 or 5 months when I'd done that. So my starting body fat was probably 54%. The number on the right-hand side is 27.9, which is where I was at 3 weeks ago. And I've lost about 4 pounds since then. So I'm probably closer to a flat 27% at this point. That's over the course of 18 months. Well, not even 18 months. This is probably about 15 months you're seeing here. I dropped about 20% body fat. And I got to tell you, it's very interesting because you can see here the percent body fat declined and pretty steadily since I went carnivore, which is about at the 37% mark. So I've lost 10% body fat in 6 months, which is kind of cool. And then we're looking at this number called ECW. It's the ratio of extracellular water to total body water. It's a water body balance. And so what this really tells me is that my body water percentage has dropped precipitously since the last one. It doesn't really look like it, but again, you're looking at a 0.37 number here. And while I don't know exactly what that number means, you're going to notice from 0.373 to 0.370, that's a big drop on this chart. So I'm carrying a lot less water than I had been, and I think that's about the time I stopped taking creatine monohydrate. Now, what does that mean in real time? That doesn't mean the several pounds that I lost between these tests was water weight, because I mean I can see it in my body that the fat deposits that I'm trying to work through are fewer, but there's still some of that. When you lose weight, you're going to lose water weight too. So this is why we drink our water. We get our electrolytes in, and if anything, this tells me I should consider, being a little more diligent about my electrolytes, because some days I'm just not very good about it. And given now that we're in the midst of a very warm summer where I live, I need to be a little more judicious about this. But yeah, my weight loss routine, I'm considering doing a video on how I differ from most carnivores when pursuing weight loss. Is that I don't eat till I'm comfortably stuffed. I abandoned that because as soon as I started doing that, I basically stalled out. I do track macros, and I could go over what I do and the kind of foods that I eat to do it. If you've watched carnivore bodybuilders, you'll know that when they talk about their fat loss cycle versus their strength training cycles or their bulking cycles, you'll notice some things, and I do some of the things that they do, where I tend to, yes, I'll have some fatty meats, but also balance it out the other half of the day with some leaner things. And it's just it was required for me to meet my primary goal. And I'll do a whole video on that, I think, even though I think some people are going to get upset because I'm defying what some of the bigger name influencers have to say. But I'm not a big believer in one size fits all for carnivore and for achieving your results. Anyway, let me know what you thought of this in the comments, please. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.